There's going to be times in your life when you literally have no room for error and you have to succeed, and everything is just going wrong. Everything is going against you. The world is against you. Your business is against you, and everything is just falling apart. And in this video today, we're going to talk about how to use these massive contractions in order to take what's called a quantum leap forward. Now, you guys have probably seen like that graph that says, oh, here's the line, success looks like this, success is never a straight line. Well, that's absolutely true. And so when you have these dips on that graph and in your life, when everything is going wrong, you feel like everything is against you, and you feel like there's no way out, you basically just need to keep going. Every massive contraction is a lesson. Every massive contraction, every single failure that you have, when things aren't going your way, you have to take it as feedback. You have to iterate on everything that's happening to you. You have to understand what has happened to you, and you have to look at it objectively. The hardest part about this entire thing is just removing your own emotionality from the situation. It's very easy, specifically because a lot of entrepreneurs are very negative, because we are addicted to negative feedback or these life-draining systems, and we can get really down on ourselves. Because we're naturally higher IQ, or more successful people are usually naturally higher IQ, you tend to overthink things. You tend to overthink decisions, to overthink processes, to overthink everything that's going on. And you usually end up in this scenario where you're like, woe is me. My life sucks. Why did this have to happen to me? And the reason I can talk about this is because I've been there like so many times. I've been there. So you look at it and you're like, oh, well, woe is me, this sucks. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? When you seriously just have to remove yourself from the equation and look at it as if it was a separate entity. And these massive contractions, if you do this, you can look at everything and start to now diagnose all of the problems from a third party perspective, from a third eye observer, or observing from an aerial view or a top-down view. And if you use some of the other lessons that I've taught here on YouTube, like the KPI scorecard and how to use systems and tracking and things like that to get quantitative and qualitative data, you can now use these other frameworks to look at the situation that you're in. And you can now understand the bottlenecks that you have in the business, the bottlenecks that you have in your life. So this is a really important idea, because all of these contractions exist as lessons. JayZ has a famous lyric. He says, a loss ain't a loss, it's a lesson. And I think it's from the 444 album. So listen to JayZ here. And so every loss that you have, every failure that you have to look at and think, how could I have done this better? How could I improve this? Is there something that we missed? Was there a scenario that we didn't think of? Was there a failure that happened that we didn't expect? Because you have a few different types of problems. You have problems that you create for yourself. You have problems that you can expect as you grow or as you don't grow. And you have the problems that you don't expect that you need to fix right away. And so all of these problems, you have to categorize all these losses and all these things into problems that you either could have solved, problems that you didn't, and those are problems that you didn't expect, the expected problems, and the problems that you create for yourself, right? You getting negative on yourself is just you creating more problems for yourself. It's added stress. It's added pressure. It's internal pressure as opposed to external pressure. So we got to think about this, and we got to say, how can we, like, what did we not do? It's not about what you did do. Sometimes it is. But sometimes it's about what you did do, and then really why you lost is what you didn't do. And you probably didn't do everything you could in your power. If you did, then there might have been a skill issue or a knowledge issue. This is why obtaining knowledge is so important from people who are ahead of you, who have done different things. And you have to understand where you went wrong. And the only way that you can understand where you went wrong is if you actually go wrong, and it happens all the time in business. But when you go wrong, you got to fix the reason why you went wrong. Where did you go wrong? What part of the process? Was it the beginning? Was it the middle? Was it the end? You can do this in sales all the time, right? Like, where did you lose the customer at? Why didn't they move forward? Was it the beginning? Was it the middle? Was it the end? Was it the value build? Was it the offer presentation? Was it the pre-frame? Who knows, right? Only you can know that. So you're going to, as you collect these failures, And we used to call this reference experience back in the day, and it's still called reference experience. So when you collect this reference experience, you now know how to operate and create something called a modus operandi, which is a mode of operation, in order to figure out how to operate in order to succeed. So when we start to collect all of this reference experience, this is why creating skill stacks is so important, and getting these skill sets from fundamentally different things, right? And building your skill stack from different areas. This is why this is so important, because you're going to understand what works and what doesn't work. So you take this, you create this modus operandi, and you move forward with the new data that you have, whether that's empirically. I have a saying where it's empirical data gathered in the trenches, right? That's when you just get your teeth kicked in business, and you're just failure after failure after failure, and then you learn, and then you finally succeed. Because the only way you can truly fail is if you just give up and you quit. Because if you do it long enough on a long enough time horizon, you're going to win eventually. It's like statistically impossible that you do not succeed. Most people, they quit after like 10 days, 14 days. You can't expect to be like a multimillionaire, build this like business enterprise, this business empire, if you quit on yourself after like 9 days. Oh, well, it didn't work. Yeah, because you only did it for 9 days. So, so when you get this reference experience, you create this modus operandi for yourself. You then use all of the reference experience, all of the skill stacks, all of your skill sets, and all of your abilities to then take it and get that quantum leap forward. Because when you do the next thing, there might be a period of time where you are just not doing anything. There might be a period of time where you just simply need to take a break. There was a period last year in my business where everything felt like it went to shit, and I sat on my ass for about a month and I didn't do anything. And then when I came back, I had one of the most successful sprints of my entire life. Actually, still to this day, the most successful sprint of my business career to date. And it was because I took that time for myself. I took all of the data and all of the experience and all of the feedback that I got, and I sat on it and I thought about it for months and months, even while it was happening. What could I have done better? What could I have done better? What can we do better next time? And I took it. And what I did was I rested. I allowed myself to kind of gather my energy and then use that energy to create that quantum leap forward. Every contraction is something that you can learn from. Success is absolutely not linear. You go up, you go down. Actually, I don't really respect anybody who's just made it and never basically been broke before after they made it. Everyone kind of messes up their first time, especially high-level guys, especially when you're a young guy. It's very easy to mess up with partying and women or experiences and traveling and things like that. And it's really easy to mess your money up. So a lot of really high-level entrepreneurs, they are able to rebuild even faster, which is what has happened to me multiple times, because this has happened to me multiple times. And there's these micro contractions and macro contractions that exist. And the macro contractions are when like everything is on fire and you have no idea what's going to happen. The micro contractions are like those down periods or those down hours or minutes or even like seconds, like those down seconds also are micro contractions. Those weeks or days or maybe even a few months in the business or whatever it is that you're doing where you are unable to feel like there's a way out. So you can learn from all these things. You can continue to improve your process. It's really, really important that you take all of that experience, you take all that data and you iterate on it. I actually like this saying. There's a saying, I think, in crypto where it says higher highs and higher lows. And your business, especially when you get better and better and better, you end up getting into this state of where there's higher highs and just simply higher lows, right? There's guys who've been doing business for a while, somebody like me. If you do Let's say I do 30 grand in a month, that's a very bad month. If you do 100 grand in a month, that's at like, and just the scale of reference gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you have to really understand how to improve, and you really have to understand when you are contracting or when you're about to experience a state of contraction as well. Because the signs are there. The signs are like those demons that are chasing after you that you can't, like, you can't stop going to the club. You can't stop buying bottles in Miami. Like, these are things that are going to make you unsuccessful if you, and create a period of contraction. I don't know why, because I definitely have done that, and it's created a period of contraction for me. Or too much traveling, or not enough work. And it all depends on really where you want to go. But you're gonna end up getting your teeth kicked in all the time. It happens like even like on a daily basis. There's things that don't go well. There's things that go wrong. There's things that go great. You never really know, which is the beautiful part about it. But the entire idea of this video is to take all the data, take the empirical evidence, take the quantitative and qualitative data that you get from just simply doing business and working on yourself and living your life, and you experience all of this stuff. You take it, you learn from it, you iterate on it, and then you use it to create that quantum leap forward where you end up successful with everything that you want. 35 Lamborghinis, 93 Rolls Royces, and whatever the hell it is you want. So, guys, I appreciate you watching this video. Got some free stuff for you in the description. Go ahead and feel free to check it out. It's great. And I will see you in the next video. My name is David. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.